Get him! Take your stinking paws off me, you darn dirty ape! Hi, I'm Bobby, and welcome to Dusty Old Movies. I actually saw Planet of the Apes in a movie theater last summer, and I went totally ape for it. And with the War of the Planet of the Apes coming out this year, I thought now would be a perfect time to take a look at the film that started the franchise, the original Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes began life as a novel, Les Planètes de Sea, or Monkey Planet, by Pierre Boulle. But it was the producer Arthur Jacobs who wanted to make it into a movie. He had 7 artists create 130 pages of concept art, and he had Twilight Zone creator Rod Serling do the screenplay. Well armed, he took his idea around Hollywood, and everyone said no. Talking apes would be too childish and too ridiculous. But before he was a producer, Arthur was a publicity agent, so he had one more trick up his sleeve. Getting a movie star on board. So he got Ben-Hur and Moses himself, Charlton Heston. Suddenly, Fox was interested, but before they gave the official go-ahead, they had to do a makeup test to prove that the makeup would not be laughable. The budget for the film was only $5.8 million, but $1 million of it went to makeup. When adjusted for inflation, it still holds the record for highest makeup budget of any film. John Chambers and his team of 80 makeup artists had to turn 200 people into apes. While there were a few problems, production went well, and they even had some fun, like when the ape actors would go out driving around Los Angeles in full ape makeup. However, during breaks, a strange thing began to happen. The actors playing gorillas would all hang out together and not really associate with those actors playing chimpanzees, or those actors playing orangutans. And the chimpanzee actors did the same thing, and the orangutan actors did the same thing. While this just happened naturally, this type of segregation was one of the major themes of the Planet of the Apes. Taylor and 2 other astronauts crash on a strange planet that is run by civilized apes. While the military gorillas are hunting the primitive humans, Taylor gets captured and injures his throat, thus making him temporarily unable to speak. He is taken to the animal hospital, where he is under the care of Dr. Zira. He finds a way to communicate with Zira, and her and her fiancé Cornelius feel compassion for this strangely intelligent human. Taylor is brought to the attention of Dr. Zaius, but Dr. Zaius wants Taylor and any evidence of an intelligent human destroyed. This is an incredibly creative story, and it's told in the perfect way. We don't see our first ape until we're a half hour into it. During that time, we're watching Taylor and the 2 other astronauts unknowingly getting closer and closer to Ape City. During their journey, we get these bizarre camera angles, which makes the terrain look like it's really from another world. Also, we hear this wonderfully weird music by Jerry Goldsmith, and to get the ape spirit into the music, he would actually wear a gorilla mask. In addition, we learn about the characters during this section. Even though the schedule was pretty tight, they spent days and days doing these scenes because of how important it was to create this otherworldly atmosphere. It allows you to gradually and completely suspend your disbelief. So by the time we get our first ape, we are ready and expecting something wild, and the promise is fulfilled. The scene where the gorillas hunt the humans is spellbinding and throws us right into the action of the story. There are other great action scenes that follow. However, the more quiet, dramatic scenes are just as captivating. Now the Ape Tribunal has placed you under my custody for final disposition. Do you realize what that means? No. Emasculation to begin with, then experimental surgeries on the speech centers, on the brain. Eventually a kind of living death. The film also has a great visual design and a clever sense of humor. You know what they say, human see, human do. Finally, the film has a great twist ending, where... Shut up, Bobby! Sorry, I didn't mean to go bananas. So the film takes all these great turns, some dramatic, some fun, and because of that setup, you go with it all. Along with the story being great, so are the characters. This movie has some of the greatest science fiction characters of all time. For starters, there's Charlton Heston as the astronaut Taylor. Taylor signed up for this mission because he hates people. He sees them as uncompassionate and warlike and wants to find something better. Sometimes he's kind of a jerk, but with Charlton Heston's movie star charisma, you like him anyway. And part of the thrill is seeing this confident and super macho guy suddenly running for his life. It's a madhouse! It's a madhouse! I always think it's interesting when the villain and the hero have something in common, and Dr. Zaius hates people just like Taylor does, and for the same reasons. Dr. Zaius is played by Maurice Evans, and he was a Shakespearean actor. To eat or not to eat? That is the question. And a regular of 60s television. As with all orangutans, Dr. Zaius is a respected leader in ape society. He is the minister of science, but he is also the defender of the faith. I hope this doesn't give our government any ideas. Dr. Zaius states that he's a grandfather, and Maurice Evans does have this warmth about him. So he's not very threatening, but the establishment behind him is. Unbeknownst to the other characters, Dr. Zaius knows all about mankind. He recognizes that Taylor is intelligent right away, but discounts it in front of everyone else. And he wants Taylor and all of mankind destroyed. And based on his information, his perspective is understandable. You are right. I've always known about man. From the evidence, I believe his wisdom must go hand in hand with his idiocy. His emotions must rule his brain. He must be a warlike creature who does battle to everything around him, even himself. That's what makes Dr. Zaius so fascinating, because he's not a mustache-twirling bad guy. He's scared of what man could do, and while he does some shifty things, he does it with the motivation of preserving the ape species. The other two actors monkeying around is longtime character actor Rodney McDowall as Cornelius and Kim Hunter as Dr. Zira, who played Stella in The Streetcar Named Desire. Zira is a compassionate, strong-willed, and optimistic animal psychologist. Her fiancé Cornelius is an archaeologist who discovered ancient artifacts from a Yuvan civilization. He's compassionate too, but more focused on working within the system. If you were a missing link, the sacred scrolls wouldn't be worth that parchment. Well, maybe they're not. Oh no, I'm not going to get into that battle. Cornelius, show some strength. They play off each other perfectly and bring such heart to the film because of how they see Taylor as an individual and try to help him. Along with the characters making the film great, so does its inclusion of real-world issues. Planet of the Apes involves social issues, politics, and religion. Perfect for Thanksgiving. The way the apes see the humans, it can be seen as an allegory for racism. Remember, all humans look alike to most apes. In the film, the government tries to hide information and stifle those who discover it. Although it's not officially in the law books, different ape social classes have more freedom and rights than others, and there is a debate of whether apes were created by God or did they evolve from man. These issues create a lot of interesting conflicts within the story, so it actually makes the film more entertaining, plus it gives you a lot to think about. Unfortunately for society, but fortunately for the film, all these issues still exist today, so it grabs you just as much now as it did in 1968. Audiences went ape for the film, and it grossed over $32 million. At the time, the Academy Awards had no makeup category, so John Chambers received a special award for his outstanding achievement in makeup. Planet of the Apes had more merchandise than you could shake a banana at, which was rare for movies back then. There were 4 sequels, a live-action TV series, an animated series, homages, a remake, and a successful reboot of the series. Incidentally, there was an orangutan in these films named Maurice. He is named after Maurice Evans. Planet of the Apes has an amazing story and unforgettable characters. You'd be bananas not to like it. So I give it 4 corrupt governments out of 4. Thank you for watching Dusty Old Movies, and remember, go ape!